I bought them already. I went one day and she rung it up after I started was tax exempt and she told me she got a number of my and she didn't put the number in. No, yeah, they're all maybe, you know. She was talking. A lot of talk. It will. Yeah, that day, yeah, PD day when I just did, and then I got back to the building, and I got up there, and I said, anybody that's available to please get me out my car. Like, I, it was, I think. I don't know a lot of junk.
I saw a lot of cereal.
Yeah, I was no ambulance.
Two crowns. Yeah. I think we know which road right.
I think this one's you.
Mine's open. I brought mine upstairs.
You got it.
Oh, yep. Let me get my mitts together. Everybody ready to roll? Yes, we do. Everybody ready to roll? Stacy, let me know when you're ready. Hold on. All right, now I gotta find my agenda. Where'd you say? What date is it? I got it. Yep. I was prepared. I was prepared. All right. Glasses, no glasses. All right. You ready? I would like to call the regularly scheduled board meeting to order and ask that you join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now would you please rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance?
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now I will read our mission statement. The Waterloo schools will set the standard for urban education by ensuring that every student is given the comprehensive support and diverse experiences needed to graduate with a diploma and a plan. And the next item on our agenda is information from delegations and individuals. This is the opportunity where those who wish to address the school board may do so. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Mrs. Arndorfer will hold up a yellow card when you have 30 seconds remaining and a red card when your time has expired. At that time, I will ask you to conclude your remarks. Please also keep your comments respectful and constructive. We're all here with the goal of trying to support our students. Please also avoid criticizing job performance of specific employees of the school district. Personnel matters are confidential and must be handled through the proper channels and not in a public forum. Finally, we provide this as an opportunity for public comments, but it is generally not a back and forth discussion, especially of items not on the agenda. At times, we'll try to answer questions if we can before or after the meeting, but we have to proceed with our meeting agenda items. With that, I invite anyone who wishes to address the board to come forward and start by stating your name and address. And make sure the green light is on, please.
My name is Michael Chapman, and my address today revolves around the future bid letting of the one high school program.
What is your address again, sir?
2761 Deer Road.
Is that Waterloo?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. I would encourage the board to adopt targeted small business and minority-owned business and veteran-owned business percentages, or at least goal percentages for this project. We'd also like, although it's a little non-traditional, I'd like to see maybe goals for local businesses as well, so that we don't have such a giant project let out to surrounding states, surrounding cities, and such. We'd like to keep as much of that business here in Waterloo as possible. I know we have excellent contractors and subcontractors in almost every trade that could be attentive and take care of most of this as well. And so I would just encourage that if that's at all possible to be put into the bid letting requirements, that we do so. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Lan Graves, 607 East Donald Street. So I'm here because, I saw on the news the incident that occurred with a student that's in the Waterloo Community School District, the student that was shot. And so as a district, I would like to know, what do you do as far as students that may be friends with the young man? Were there counselors provided for those students that were close to him? And even other students that may have experienced trauma. Also, as a district, is it in your policies and procedures to put out information regarding things like that when they happen to our students? Also, as a district, do you have in your policies and procedures to assist in any way? Because as I saw the news, the parent was saying that they were going to have a lot of medical bills. So emails have been shared with me, and it seems like when it's staff, emails are shared. When a staff experience a tragedy, those emails are shared. But when it's a student, it seems like there's a difference. And our students are precious commodities. And so I watch the news and I see other small districts that rally around the family. So I'm just asking, what do we do as a district when a student experiences a tragedy and how we compare it versus a staff member and a student, if you understand what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm asking? Okay.
Yes.
So I know sometimes I get tongue tied, but when I'm passionate about something, it just, and my heart went out to that mother and child. And so, and I hadn't heard anything if the district had done anything, on a larger level. And I don't know if you have started something and it just hasn't been put out, or if you do anything at all. But whether it's a student or staff, is there a difference? You know what I'm saying? Do you put something out when it's a staff member versus a student? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I can't stay, so I probably won't hear your answer, but I'll be looking forward to receiving something.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have your contact information, so we'll reach out to you. Thank you, Ms. Graves.
My name's Haley Broughton. My address is 234 Linwood Avenue, Waterloo, Iowa. On January 29th of this year, a 12-year-old boy who attends a Waterloo school in the Waterloo School District was beckoned to a secluded area where a staff member unbuckled his belt, asked my son to rebuckle it, and due to his broken wrist, after expressing being uncomfortable and suggested he asked another teacher, after feeling pressured, my son rebuckled the belt for the staff member, inserting the belt into the loops around the staff member's waist. My son immediately went to a trusted adult to report how uncomfortable the situation was for him. When he was sent to the principal's office, on the way down, my son decided to audio record this conversation. The principal's comments and lack of concern were alarming. The principal not only responded with, "What do you want me to do about it?" but I'll just tell that staff member not to ask you to help with those things anymore. The principal then placed my son in a room alone with the staff member, stating, "He just has some questions for you," knowing already how uncomfortable my son was. Audio was still recording at this point. For 10 minutes, my son was alone in a room with the staff member, where he cussed at my child several times, asked my child if he was a punk. He sought further information, questioning my child on who he all told and what he all said, and he even made a comment of, "I'm not on no freaky SHIT with you. I didn't ask you to pull my pants down and suck my DICK. If the board would like confirmation, I'd be happy to play the recording at the end of the meeting." The recorded conversations were then turned into the principal, student services, and superintendent. Neither staff members involved had repercussions equivalent to the damage that has caused my child, and what he has to remember happened to him in a place that was supposed to be safe for him. How can we ensure parents that this is a safe place for our children if this hasn't been spoken about, if other parents haven't been notified? My child no longer feels comfortable in this district. Things I would ask that you reflect on. Do you feel this was an appropriate way to handle this situation? How will these accusations be handled moving forward? How do we know this hasn't happened to other children? And how can I tell my child that he needs to trust a school district that has failed him? With your votes tonight, you could make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. It's a little different being on this side of the room here. I'm John Childs, a Ward 1 City Council member for the City of Waterloo, 1474 Audubon Drive, Waterloo, Iowa. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on your successful vote from the citizens of Waterloo for a brand new high school. This is something that I was obviously very in support of, and it's in my ward. So I'm appreciative of the work that you've done to create this opportunity for our students, and I look forward to seeing the evolution of this process actually come to fruition. With that, I'm here to represent my citizens in the neighborhood because, as you probably are aware, they are gravely concerned about the road through Miriam's Park. I've had an opportunity to speak with a number of the citizens that live in that area, and I think it would be best before this comes to council, when we currently have a council that is quite supportive of what our citizens want, before it makes its way to our council for any type of variance or letting that needs to happen, for me to have a conversation with a few people about how we can make sure that this choice is a good choice for that neighborhood and that they feel supported and are supportive of this decision. Because I can tell you now, if they come, with the amount of support that they currently have to counsel and speak against this, it will be a difficult proposition. I support this school fully. I supported it through Facebook and giving a message for support of it, but I want to make sure that the citizens feel like they are treated fairly and have their voices heard. So if I could just have a short meeting with a few people, a few members of the board with Dr. Smith, just to make sure that we go through this and they can feel heard and make sure that they get what they feel is needed in order to let that area go. Again, they are supportive of the school. They are supportive of a better and brighter future for a one Waterloo, but we need to make sure that they feel included in that process so that way we can move forward smoothly. Thank you again for all your work. I know how hard it is sitting up there and hearing a lot of things. So thank you again for what you do, and I look forward to hearing from a few people in the next week or two. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Childs, can you send an email to the district, I can reach out to you as well, but I don't know if we have your email on. What's your best contacts?
Just my public email, john.child@waterloo-ia.org. Yeah, just that email would be perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board this evening? Seeing none, we'll move along with our agenda. The next item on our agenda is the public hearing for Bunger Middle School Track and Field Project. In accordance with Section 73A of the Code of Iowa, a public hearing is required if the Board of Education of a school corporation proposes to make public improvements that may exceed $100,000. A public hearing provides an opportunity for any and all interested parties to appear before the board and comment on the prospective project. The district proposes to reconstruct the track and field at Bunger Middle School. The project scope includes new fencing, running track, discus shot put, and location for salvage bleachers and other work as indicated in the drawings and specifications. The public hearing for the proposed Bunger Middle School Track and Field Project is today and is now open to the public. Is there anyone that would like to address the board about the Bunger Middle School project? Going once? Seeing none, we'll move on. Oh, can I get a motion to close?
So
the
moved.
hearing?
Second.
All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. So that brings us to item 7, which is for information only, and it is a school presentation from Highland Elementary School. So throughout the 2024-25 school year, we're still continuing to learn about buildings and the things that they're doing. So at this time, we have Principal Matt. I don't see Matt.
No, you get Lee.
Okay.
Terry Kemmeyer.
All right, Mrs. K. Meyer.
No, you get the prettier one.
Right, right. No comment.
We won't
If
tell.
you can make sure the green light is on.
Yep. The rest of my friends are gonna come up there too. Where'd you put that? Oh, here it is. Sorry.
Oh, you said you were coming by yourself.
Oh, no, I'm not. No, I bring people with me.
All right.
All right, see if this syncs. There we go. Okay, so I brought with me our attendance committee. At Highland, we really pride ourselves. Why isn't this loading? Ron. It worked. I do have to talk next to it. Oh,
Here it comes.
Matt O'Brien's even, there we go.
See, all it needed was that magic touch.
It did work when we tried it before, Matt.
Don't you love technology?
I do, sometimes. really did. It literally, it was
really
plug
works.
in and it went. Now it's not. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Matt. So one of our goals is our attendance goals, which is also a district goal. Our goal this year at Highland was to decrease chronic absenteeism by 20 to 27%. We were at 32% at the end of last year. So we have an outstanding committee. I have my amazing family support worker, Heidi Drenner. We also have our at-risk learning sports coordinator, Abby, our counselor, Miss Jen, and then our attendance secretary, Lisa, and then I have 2 classroom teachers, Miss Eade and Miss Spencer. We meet twice a month in the mornings on Thursday mornings from 8 to 8:30 before the kids get there. When we meet, we are planning a multitude of things. We're looking at kids that are bubble kids, kids that are on the fence, on the verge of becoming chronic absentee kids, our kids that are chronically absent, and what we're doing with them and meeting with them, and planning for our incentives. So we have a celebration at the end of every month. The kiddos who miss less than 2 days. So if they miss 2 full days of school during the month of January, they don't get to participate in the incentive portion of our attendance party. We usually have 3 things. One's usually around food, cookie decorating, making pumpkin pie. What was last week? Oh, ice cream. They got ice cream last month. Some sort of arts and crafts, and then some sort of physical activity. So at the beginning of the month, Miss Abby makes this great little chart. The kids get to sign up for it. So they know what they're signing up for, and they know what they're striving for before we get to the end of the month. And then at the end of the month, on our day, the list goes out of who qualifies for attendance incentive and who doesn't qualify for attendance incentive. If for some reason you don't qualify, and that's totally okay, we don't see it as a punishment. So we have guest speakers come in. We are looking for guest speakers for this month. So if anybody would like to, just shoot me an email. It's super fun. You get to talk to all our friends. Or we buddy up with classrooms and they work on their ST math or do reading buddies to catch up on some of the learning they may have lost when they were gone for those days during the month. So this is kind of what we do. Last month, it was glow sticks in the gym with music and ice cream cups and friendship bracelets. When we do these activities, there are teachers that stay back and staff that stay back with those students who don't qualify for the attendance incentive, but then everybody else is out there helping. So you sign up for an activity to help with or to supervise. And then this is just kind of what we think about when we do guest speakers or if we're buddying up. We are really proud of our data. We have worked really hard to decrease our chronic absenteeism at Highland. As of right now, 13% of our student body, which is about 100 or so kiddos, still have perfect attendance this year. Last year, we had 1 kiddo. So we've really tried. We are down 8.43% as of this time last year for our chronic absenteeism. And right now, if we continue that trend, we will meet our goal by the end of the year. You guys have any questions for us? Thank you.
How many students have already missed enough that they'll be chronically absent even if they attend every day from here on out?
Do you know? That would be a tableau. I'd have to look at how many have missed 18 days.
What's the biggest barrier for attendance?
It's just not, it's knowing that it's important for them to be there. Yeah.
Kind of see the big picture when it comes to from kindergarten to graduation. That's kind of a wake up call to a lot of parents.
Can you step up to the
No, go
microphone
ahead.
so
Oh,
everyone
go
can hear you?
ahead.
Oh man. Just something, and then something that we kind of try to communicate to parents to address some barriers, just to kind of motivate them and just let them know the school is a priority. We do break down the math and break down the numbers when it comes to conferences and things like that. Just saying when they're missing these 2 days a month, how it aggregates, and then you're missing that full year by the time you're graduating. And we have kids that Miss Jen and I have sat down and talked about, and talked to parents too. Just saying, like, we go at this rate, she might be missing this chunk of her education. So sometimes having those difficult conversations can sort of address barriers as well.
So when you talk to those parents, what are they saying? Are they giving you any type of reasoning or?
on the paths to get along the hike.
As the family support worker, part of my job is to identify some barriers that might be involved in that absence. So it might be a barrier of transportation or some things that are going on at home. But it's actually working with the families as a school in general. So from the teacher to the at-risk, to counselor, myself, and admin, we might have family come in and have a meeting, set up some plans to put in place, talk about those barriers, and then work with the family throughout the whole school year. So some of the things that I've done this year is I will do home visits. If the student hasn't come to school for a couple days, I'm going to stop by your house and introduce myself and just identify if there's a concern or something that we can help with. So really trying to get that piece changed, that education is important and it's not a choice.
So you mentioned transportation. Could you tell me a little bit more about?
So we've identified some families that may have some homeless concerns, and getting a bus scheduled with the school to pick that student up. You kind of help with transportation as well. So yeah, families that may be in walking distance from the school, but encouraging them, if the weather permits, it's still okay to walk to school. Anything else you can think of? Oh yeah. Yeah, if you miss the bus, we can work something out with you, within reason. We're not trying to start a trend of picking your student up all the time, but we want to identify some of those barriers. So we've identified a lot of things through this whole process this year and really opened the communication piece to get families talking to school again and just continuing to encourage the importance of your students' education and the part that the family plays in that.
Do you have a lot of mobility issues or a student pretty much set population, kids moving in and out?
We have a little bit of mobility, but not as much as we used to. Really, it's the transportation's issues it's Heidi going to do home visits to make sure we actually have the real address that they're living at so we can set up the transportation correctly for them.
Yeah.
That's one of the barriers that we figured out.
Do we have like gas cards or things like that, or is that not one of
For
the issues?
families?
Yeah.
Or for my taxi?
Either or.
If it is a barrier, Heidi will help with that. Yep.
So you said kids can sign up to take part in it. Am I understanding it right? So not every kid signs
So
up.
every kid signs up. At the beginning of the month, every kid picks one of the activities that they want to
okay.
participate in. It's only at the end of the month that I have to run the report, and then I take those names off. So they know what they're working towards. So if they choose glow sticks in the gym, they know that's what they're working towards for the end of the month. And they'll cry. I mean, there are kids that, unfortunately, illness is rampant right now. It's bad. But they'll be like, I missed 2 days and I don't get to. But that's why we do it every month. So
Yeah.
you get to try again next month. It's not a big deal. It's 30 minutes of your life. You'll be okay.
I was one of those kids that I've had migraines since I was 4. So I would have never been able to take part. So I would love to come in and be a speaker for the kids who can't. So just let me know, okay?
Awesome. Sounds good. We'll send you an email.
You said 2 days. Is that, so do you break it down if they had to miss 2 hours for a doctor's appointment? Do you do it that?
No,
so
I do half and whole.
half and whole?
Half and whole days. Yep. So if they do leave 2 hours early for a dentist appointment or something, that doesn't count against them.
Okay.
Is that the way the state counts it as well?
The state counts the hours, yes.
By hour.
Hmm.
So I think I heard the kids feel they're missed.
Yes. Oh, we have a list of kids that we check in on that they know are excited when they're there. Yep. Miss Abby and I are out every morning greeting those kids that are getting dropped off by parents. We're excited that you're here. Thanks for being here. Good morning. Good morning.
I think that's a really big piece of it.
Yep.
Thanks for doing that.
If there was a late,
The talker of the group, sorry. We've noticed a lot of conversations, through the speaking with the students that don't get to participate. We also are telling them, we know you can't drive. We know this isn't your fault that you're not here at school. But because they're having those conversations back at home,
this is so important to me. I want to be here at school. We've really noticed a big flip in that. So our kids that had some attendance concerns last year, they're not on the list this year. So it's really making a difference.
How
Thank
much
you.
would a late bus route be a benefit? You had enough kids that would be a thing where after, they unloaded your first zone and you knew which ones were not there, that you reach out.
It's a handful of kids.
Okay.
If it's, and that's on an odd day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good enough.
You guys have done great. I mean, this is amazing.
We're pretty proud of it.
Yeah. And having the 13% with perfect attendance, that's huge, huge. So thank you for all you've done. It's a really cool way to get kids excited and to help our parents make sure that there aren't the barriers. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions, comments? Thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Make sure you reach out to all these board members so they can come in and
I
speak.
will.
The next item on our agenda is for information only as well. Another school presentation from Cunningham School for Excellence. And I see we have Principal Michaela Montgomery. And her team. Make sure the green light is on.
Oh, yeah, true. Good afternoon, evening, ladies, gentlemen, friends, family. So we're going to talk to you about, well, first of all, my name is Theron Montgomery, better known as Coach T. I'm the at-risk coordinator at the Dr. Walter Cunningham School for Excellence. I'm also the coordinator of the at-risk coordinators for our elementary schools, Lincoln, Irving, Highland, Lowell. Did I say 5? Yeah. Okay. So
One more.
Cunningham. Yeah. I thought that was a given, sir. So my job basically is to oversee all behavior, primarily Tier 3, and I also support and assist the family support worker with attendance and supporting our families, as well as the counselor with some of the trauma and crisis management that goes on in the building as well.
My name is, my name is Sir Gardner. I'm our BIS coordinator at the school, and I'm basically T psychic. I help support him with all of his duties and anything that he should have me do as well. So I'm the Robin to his Batman.
So we're going to talk to you about our after-school program that is at all of these elementary schools as well. This program started last year through a Part B grant for early interventions, and it was to target Tier 2 and 3 students in behavior. And year 1, it was 3rd through 5th grade, but year 2, they lowered it down for 2 through 5th grade. And the only criteria to be in the program was you couldn't have an IEP, you had to have 4 events, minor or major, and you had to, or be in solutions. Any one of those criteria, and you could be in the program.
What's solutions? I'm sorry.
Solutions is basically a process where if students are struggling with academics or behavior, and we think that some interventions need to be put in place to kind of close the gap, then we would put an intervention in place and collect data points to determine which direction we needed to go, further supports or something like that. So in order to be in solutions, you would have to be presenting drastically low in reading, writing, math, or with behavior concerns. So if you are in solutions or you have 4 events, you are eligible to participate in the program. And so we started the program last year, and it was 4 weeks, twice a week, so it's 8 sessions. We use second step curriculum, and they're 90-minute sessions, and we do three rotations of 8 to 10 kids each time. So we try to get roughly 30-35 kids a school year. And so we had 28 last year, and we're on session 2 this year. We'll begin the session 3 after we come back from spring break. And let's see. Yeah, that's about it for.
And I'm gonna get a little bit to the data of it. So once we started this program, me and T started kind of seeing the same repetitive kids coming into our reset area, and those kids haven't been coming as much anymore. Referrals last year group today are down on average 5% to 10%. 2 to 4 referral dropped. This is equal with the same year average as well. So, and one thing I want to touch on, a part of this program, is that we hear kids using the language that we use with our curriculum in the building, and we hear some kids start, use your tools, incite me, and all the things that me and T are stressing to them, and they're trying to tell other kids how to help diffuse themselves, because a lot of it is just emotion. And when T asked me to do this, I jumped at it right away, because I wish I would have had something like that as a kid, because I was super hot-headed, and I kind of didn't know how to control my emotions. So this was a big deal to me to be a part of something like this, to be a small part of someone's growth and finding out who they are. So I jumped at it at the moment when he asked me to do it. And I kind of get emotional about it, because one of the kids in our program right now is my little cousin, and she has some trauma. It's kind of why her behaviors are where they're at, and it's nice to be able to have somebody else to help support her. So it's a personal journey for me, this program is. With that, we'd like to show y'all a video.
And before I get into the video, I just want to say that teachers deal with students differently when they know that they're really working hard and trying to change, and when they realize there's a new language they can use to communicate with those students when talking about self-regulation and all these different words and concepts. When teachers know that students are getting this type of learning, they just deal with them differently. They have a little more patience for them, and they're willing to go a little further. And right, wrong, or other, that's just a fact. And so we do have SEL lessons that are done in classrooms all over the district throughout the day, but I just feel like we need more for a lot of our students, because trying to teach and do mathematics and reading and writing when you're not emotionally regulated is just not going to happen. So until we can get them at baseline where they're at the best level for learning, it's going to be very challenging to get them to be engaged and really give them the information. So that's another great plus that I've noticed to this program. So I will share this video, which is just a snippet into the normal day of the program. So he said hit escape, and that's not working.
Don't have me touch that.
Here we go. Okay. Oh, and it's called the Better Me, Better Me from the Inside Out. I don't know if I said that. We just say Better Me for short. What's your name?
Dejan.
What you doing?
Nothing.
You're not doing nothing?
Doing Gigi.
Gigi?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Trey Asian.
What are you doing?
ST Math.
ST Math. What's your name? What are you doing?
ST Math.
What's your name?
Come on.
What are you doing?
ST.
What's your name?
Max.
What are you doing?
ST Math.
What's your name?
Xavier Keller.
What are you doing?
ST Math.
What's your name?
This is Bob McAllister.
What are you doing?
ST North.
What's your name?
My name's Kanaya.
What grade?
Thanks.
Who's your teacher?
Miss Paulson.
Is she a good teacher?
She always will be.
Okay, so tell me about the Better Me program. Tell me a little bit about it and what you like about it.
I like about it because I can learn a lot and I cannot be disrespectful to my teacher and all that stuff. I can learn a lot because before I was like so disrespectful, I would be getting mad for obviously no reasons and like fights and stuff. So I learned a lot to not be disrespectful and I learned to use my tools.
How are you?
Good.
So tell us about the Better Me program and how has it helped you?
The Better Me program has helped me, like, because I used to be, like, very mad at the little stuff, but now I know how to just solve problems myself. Learning something that learning something that teacher speaks like you. See how I was learning something like you. Coach T, act like I'm Coach T. But you got the ball. You have to have the learning board too. Just because like this. You can't listen. Say it again. All right. Anybody else?
What's your name?
Max.
Max, what grade are you in?
Third.
What's your teacher's name?
Miss Nickerson.
Is she a good teacher?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about the Better Me program. What do you want to get out of the program?
I want to get out learning how to be kind and no disrespecting people and an adult and anybody else in the world.
Good job. Okay, so who do we have here? What's your name, grade, social security number, height, weight? Go ahead. Now, what's your name?
My name's Treasure
Treasure. What's your last name?
Gardner.
Okay, tell me about the after-school program you're in. What's it called?
The Better Me in the inside and out.
Okay, what's that about?
It's a program that helps you solves your problems and make you keep your emotions in your body without. Oh yeah, I messed that up.
No, you're good. It's about emotions and what else?
About solving your problems without using your emotions.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? So now we're going to do a little exercise, kind of like a game, all right? So we're going to hand y'all some stuff, and we're going to ask y'all to walk from one side of the room to the next. Here, you hold this.
You got the pencil.
Hold on, set it down for a second.
Hey, Sean,
I'm going to tell you when to pick it up.
it's yours. Okay? And you, this is yours.
You want to one?
Yep.
You want to
You want to
Here, you hold this.
set the pencil.
You hold this.
But I get to sit on this too. I'm sitting on this. Stand right here.
You hold this.
I'm standing right here.
What's going on?
No, you gotta carry it.
Hold on. Put that down. Add this to it. All right, go ahead.
Come on, Deshaun, carry it. Carry it. You gotta carry it.
Okay, set it down. Listen, now you can get help. So for those of y'all that didn't have much, help the person out that has a lot and switch sides again. Your emotions, your feelings. So sometimes we wake up and we come to school and we got loads of emotions that are so heavy we can't even carry it. And if no one is willing to help us lift it, we won't even get off the ground because we just have so much emotional stress on us. Some of us come to school and we're kind of light. We're having a good mood, we're feeling good, we don't have a lot of baggage to carry. How does it feel if you already have some heavy emotions and then someone comes and dumps some extra heavy stuff on top of you? How does that feel?
Painful.
Painful? Anybody else? It doesn't feel great, right? But how does it feel when you feel like your load is heavy and then someone comes and helps you?
Very happy.
That's why I sat at Sean's desk, because I wanted to let him know that when an adult, I got off the desk and his peers got to help him out because we are here to support him.
Right? So think about this. When you see one of your peers with a sad face, looking like low energy, are you going to add some weight to their emotion or are you going to help take it off? A smiling face, a simple, hey, you okay? How you feeling? Can lighten their load, can take some of that off. These are physical things that we can touch to try to represent the emotions that we can't always see. Does that make sense? Program. Tell us first how you feel about it, and then tell us some things that you don't like.
So the program is about how we go after school and we learn about things that we've not learned before because teachers usually don't teach these things, or sometimes they do in other cases.
Okay. And tell us something about the program that you would like to change or that you don't like.
How long it is.
Is too long or too short?
Too long.
Too long?
Yeah.
To help me understand, you've seen these friends in the program before they were in the program, and then you've seen them after. Did you notice anything different from when they were in it, from before they were in it to after?
Makaya was nicer a little bit, and she started taking breaks when she got mad, and Kamaya stopped hitting me.
Okay, so you saw a change in them after they did the program?
Yes.
And you want that change?
Yes.
Okay. What's today?
Friday.
February 7th. Okay, and we're talking about empathy. So write that down, EMPATHY. And then somebody tell me what it means.
Read it.
What is empathy? My bad. Understand. Why is empathy important?
To help, to see somebody's sad and to also see if you can help them in any type of way.
But why would it be important for me to have some sort of understanding of how other people feel? Why should I care how somebody else feels?
Maybe if they're related to you, work in the community.
Anybody else? So, do you think if I know what it's like to have a stomach ache, it will help me better understand you if you have one? Because if I've never had a stomach ache before and you tell me your stomach hurts, be able to relate to that? No, but if I can understand because I've had it as well, wouldn't that make me feel a little more compassion for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one reason empathy is important.
Longest statement ever. I want to reiterate something. He has to write all the time because they can't read my writing. So we'll throw that out there too.
All right, so that's what we got. What y'all got for us? Any
So
questions?
after school, when is this from when to when?
This is, so it's different at different schools because we get out earlier. So for us, it's from 3 to 4:30. So we usually have the students come down with their Chromebooks and get on ST Math while we're finishing bus duty, and then we get started. We have them start on ST Math and get a snack, and then we usually start at 3 after we get the kids on the bus after school.
So what if the kid is a bus rider?
Yeah, however they get home doesn't matter because we have transportation set up. So the beauty of this program is that even if you aren't a bus kid, but you live, it doesn't matter where you live, if you're a bus kid or not, the grant covers transportation. But at Cunningham, we just transport for 2 reasons, because it allows us to be more flexible. We get to meet the parents, and it's like a hack to expediting that relationship building much faster. So we got volunteers and coordinators that we just take the kids home, but the grant covers transportation.
So they take them home with a yellow bus or a van or what?
With the SUV that we drive.
Coach T, nice job. I love the fact that you talk about emotions because that plays a huge role to all of us, kids, adults, and everyone. Where did you get your curriculum from?
Second Step, but we kind of remixed and finessed it with some of our own stuff.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And I'd like to hear more about these tools. Because I think I might need them too.
We kind of let the kid lead the classes sometimes. Sometimes it might not even be the curriculum. We might start out with the curriculum, and if it's something that happened in the day, we might lean on something that happened in our day, kind of for that portion of the class.
Has there been any feedback from teachers with this program? You know,
I can answer that. One day, one of our fifth grade teachers came in and just not even paying attention and kind of took a little video and sent me an email, because what it was, one of our students was, we have I think it was a fourth grader, and there was a third grader in there. He was hoping to tie her shoe. And Miss Tim saw that and just was like, wow. So that means that there's been a couple feedback emails to me from a couple staff members.
You got to know the kid for the shoe tying to understand the shoe tying thing. But yeah, lots of teachers have reached out to me like, how can I get my students in this? And they're not too fond that you have to have a certain requirement, but you know, we got to help them understand, like anything else, the kids that need it the most and need it first have to get it first. But we tell them that these are just concepts and lessons that you don't have to be in the after school program to get. We can just do little pop-ins in class and do a quick 10-minute thing and share some of this stuff. So we do have some of that lined up as well.
you know, just a suggestion of possibly having a survey for those teachers. You know, bringing in their data on before and after. From that standpoint, to be able to see if it's, you know, if the rubber's meeting the road, you know, from that standpoint, you have moments of it, but overall, how is the program, especially when that kid is in the class, and are they improving or not?
Well, we know from referral data, I didn't pull the attendance numbers this week preparing for this meeting, but we know that referral data and visits to reset have gone down pretty much overall with all the students that have participated.
Being the coordinator, do you ever pop into other buildings in their after-school programs, and is it similar? Does it look a little bit of what we've seen here, or is there any differences in the other buildings?
So this is only our second year, and Mrs. Hartman and some other faculty and DLT have talked to me about visiting the after-school programs at different places. And so I've explained to the participating schools, be ready, because they could pop in on you at any time. But I've only personally been able to visit one school, and it did look similar. There's only one facilitator there. We have two, which I just think that is super challenging to be able to handle 8 to 10 students by yourself after they've had a full school day and the type of students that we have. So I almost want to make it a requirement that you got to have 2 staff, but I know not all buildings can get someone to do it. So to answer your question in short, I've only been able to see one, and it was pretty close. It wasn't quite the same, but it was close. I gave some pointers and made some suggestions. So
every building is using this now, or?
So originally the grant was written for all the buildings that had ARCs.
They had what? I'm sorry.
At-risk coordinators.
Okay.
And I think 5 of the buildings, 3 participated year 1. And I think we have 2 or 3 participating this year.
And where was the grant from?
It's called a Part B Early Intervention Grant for Tier 2 and 3 students without IEPs.
So how long will
means anything to you?
How long will you get it? Is it renewing? Like
it is renewing. I know part of it goes to Mant, and part of it comes for the after school program. And last I heard, both were kind of teetering. So I don't know what is going to be the deciding factor. Maybe this presentation could get y'all moving in the right direction. I don't know, but I don't know. I hope we can continue it.
I loved
Here.
seeing the kids and hearing them use the language, and how excited they were to be talking about this. That's an after school program, which you don't hear kids talking about enjoying an after school program. So yeah, this is very cool. And watching you two together, I can see where other kids who don't fit the specifications would still want a chance to do it. So I'm glad you're popping into classrooms and helping share the ideas and giving kids those, because when you know what something's called, you can deal with it, you know. So amazing job. Thank you.
I can say great video. That was just, you know, seeing it live in action is just it's pretty amazing what's going on. But, you know, I would say, you know, for both Coach Eve and Sarah, both, you know, I know you guys are very, you know, dedicated to community, and doing like this work here is just right up your alley so much. So I appreciate the work you two are doing together, and, you know, getting together, teaming up, and making a difference here. So thank you both.
They do all right.
Jesse gave me my start. So.
Great job, Cunningham. Moving along, the next item on our agenda is for information only as well. It is a Next Gen Student Leadership Conference. The goal of Waterloo's Next Gen Student Leadership Conference is to create a continued leadership learning experience for our student leadership teams across the district, which includes Lighthouse, student government, etc., in grades 4 through 8. And I believe we have Abby Norgren, the lead teacher at Fred Baker Elementary, to talk a little bit more about this program.
Yeah, hi.
Welcome.
I'm also here with a colleague who would love to come introduce themselves.
Sport. Andy Hansen, lead teacher at Lou Henry. So,
today I just want to share with you a little bit about what we're doing to try to plan our first district-wide student leadership conference. I'm kind of a big dreamer. Those of you who know me know that about me, and I've been going through my mind of how to do this for a couple of years. Last year I tried something similar. We did a day of learning, service learning, and my target audience, I guess, would have been student lighthouse teams across the district. I didn't get much feedback from that, but the students I took had a great day, and we did a couple service projects. So from there, I was like, I just have to figure out how to get this off the ground. I need people involved in joining me. So we shifted things a little bit this year to plan a student leadership conference. So the target audience for this will be our, what we would call like our student governments. So for some schools with Leader Me, it would be your lighthouse team. Other schools might not have a team that assembles regularly, but they'll still be able to nominate student leaders from their building. We're looking at students in grades 4th through 8th to attend. That helps with planning because we need to have topics that would be presented that would be applicable to different grade levels, right? So I don't want a 2nd grader coming in and sitting with an 8th grader. So we're kind of doing some strategic planning with that. And our overall mission for this is called Uniting for Impact. And we asked actually administrators, what do you feel like our students are missing when it comes to those leadership roles, so that we could narrow down our themes. So we came up with 4 themes to focus on. Me, myself, and I, just really digging into who you are as a leader. Leadership, communication and collaboration, mental health and well-being. So we have 4 different themes that we're asking our breakout session presenters to come up with some idea how they want to reach kids and engage with kids under those topics. And why I'm coming here today is because we're just starting now to reach out to ask for breakout presenters. So this might be the first time you're hearing about this, but it won't be the last time, because we're just starting our big push of information being shared out with everybody. I wanted to have location and funding all figured out first, obviously, before we went too far ahead of ourselves. So Waterloo Community Foundation has provided us with a grant to help cover food and a couple other smaller things for it. We're continuing right now to look for a grant to cover shirts for our students who attend. And yeah, we want this to be an annual thing. It does happen in other larger districts. Some other districts even allow students from outside of their district to attend. But for our first year and our committee of like 5 volunteers, we just wanted to start with a smaller target group and see how things go. I'm also working with high schoolers in the Career Center for a couple different parts of it, but part of that would be helping guide our younger students. So we'll be picking the breakout sessions for our 4th and 5th graders, and we'd be asking the high school volunteers to help guide them. So the green group would follow me to session A, and then the green group would follow me to session B, just to help with guiding through Central Middle School and the Waterloo Career Center, where this will be held on April 4th. So you would all be invited to attend and stop by and support. We would love that. We're still narrowing down who our big keynote speaker would be. But as you know, we have so many wonderful people in the community, it's kind of hard to choose, which is a good problem to have. So, questions? And if there are none, that's okay too.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
I know being in the position that we're in, we look and we see all the amazing students in our district that come and present to us and exhibit leadership qualities, some of the programs that they're in. So we definitely like these type of events and opportunities for students to learn and engage with leadership and being able to exhibit some of those qualities and learn those qualities as well. So this is amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing it come to fruition and then seeing the product that'll come from this and some of the leaders that will be formed in our district from this initiative. So this is great. This is great.
Thank you.
How many students do you expect?
So our goal would be to have about 150 students attend. With it being on a PD day, there's pros and cons to that. So I have teachers who would be working that day, right? I have some paras who will also be supporting on that day, but we just could not take on the transportation on a non-school day. I'm sure you can understand transportation can be quite a big deal and a big cost, especially if we're going from all over the district and trying to get them to one place. So this year, to just help us get it off the ground, parents would be transporting on this day off of school to Central and picking up from Central for it. So hopefully that doesn't impact our numbers too much, because my goal would be to know how many students are able to attend from each school nominating. And if they start to notice, oh, we have 3 kids who wouldn't be able to attend for transportation reasons, my advice to them would be, is there somebody at your school who can help with transportation? It is a paid work day, and they would only need to help get them there and take them home. And then secondly, like, who else could I find to help? Because the people in our community don't say no to helping, as you know. A lot of support from the people that I've talked to about this already. I just didn't want to give too much until we knew we had funding and everything covered, but we're ready now to start sharing more information with everyone about it.
Like I said, this is a great opportunity. I will say this, just because of my day job and some of the things that we do involving students and activities and different things. We've experienced events on school days and non-school days. Just to make you aware, participation is, for whatever reason, lower on non-school days. A lot has to do, I believe, with some of the things that the Highland team talked about. These students in 4th through 8th grade don't drive themselves. And I think they would want to participate in something like this, but sometimes that transportation is out of their control. So not saying change the date, but just have that in your mind that, students, I believe, would want to participate in it, but those barriers of getting there, if the transportation is left up to their families or them other than school bus transportation. I know we've experienced it in the past where the participation numbers are extremely lower on those non-school days, not because of the students not wanting or the parents not wanting them to participate, just from barriers of not having that transportation.
Yeah.
Well, we have some vans now, and we have just saying, that there's some things we could look at if need be.
And then there's less school buses en route on PD days and non-school days. So
And then something,
just something to think about.
yeah, I agree. So something we've done previously with an event that was at my school, but we hosted it at Gallagher, is we just find a way to nicely put, yes, I will attend. No, I cannot attend. I'm busy that day. Or I'm unsure if I could attend because of transportation. So most of our student governments or lighthouse teams all have a point person, and I've already asked the building leadership team or building leadership to give me that point person's name. And so I would funnel through them of like, hey, you your kids you nominated. Did you have some that aren't able to come for transportation? And then go the route of, would your family support worker be available that day to help with transportation? I think there's a lot of solutions that we can use to help get kids there. I guess when it's nominating like your own lighthouse team, I know I have a point person to go to. It's kind of hard when you're like, I'll email the whole district and see who responds. I actually have the point people that I'm going to for this, of saying like, hey, this is what we're doing. I need the students that you're nominating. And then of course I'll just work on making the forms for them so that all that information is spelled out clearly, so that there's no misinformation going to parents about the conference.
So did you say that there's kids will be eligible from every building, or is it just the buildings that are Leader in Me?
All elementary, all middle school have been asked who is their point person who can nominate either their leadership team or somebody who would just be a person who knows the kids well enough that they'd be able to nominate students for it.
Do you have any limit on how many kids per building?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say about 10 to 15. However, once we actually get the numbers, some lighthouse teams are 8 kids, some lighthouse teams are 30. So it's really a big range. So once you kind of balance that all out, that's where we get the 150 to 200 students as participants.
We've been lucky enough to get to meet some of the student government kids from some of the middle schools. So we've seen what some of these kids are already doing. So it's very exciting then to put them together with kids who want to do that as well. So yeah, very exciting. Let us know what you need as far as like speakers or what you're looking for. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Any more questions, comments?
Suddenly inspired to talk. 'Cause I was just thinking, I want to give a shout out to Abby because back in the day, I don't know how long it was, but she mentioned, hey, you want to do this thing with me? Leadership conference, the whole entire district. And I was like, you want to do what? But the enthusiasm is pretty contagious, so I'll leave with that. So if you can share that to answer your question, enthusiasm and getting the word out, I think would be the best contribution that you can help us with. So thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is an update from the Boys and Girls Club of the Cedar Valley. Waterloo Schools has worked in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club for a number of years. The mission of the Boys and Girls Club is to inspire and enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, responsible, and caring citizens. And I see we have Hector, Salamanca Arroyo, and I see Brian and the team of the Boys and Girls Club to give us a little bit more information on this.
Yeah, so we're super excited to be here. As Board President Mr. Astor Williams mentioned, my name is Hector Salamanca Arroyo. I'm the Resource Development Director for the Boys and Girls Club of the Cedar Valley. With me is our CEO, Brian Burton, and our Director of Club Operations, Bailey Moore. I'm going to hand it off to Brian, but we're really excited to give you this update. We really value the partnership we have with the Waterloo Community School District, and since 1967, the Boys and Girls Club of Cedar Valley has been instrumental serving the community here, and specifically in after-school programming. So I can tell you all of our club kids enjoy coming to the Boys and Girls Club. There's a lot of smiles. I know for myself, I get a lot of hellos in Spanish and English, and we get a lot of excitement at the club. So I'm going to hand it over to Brian.
Hello. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Just wanted to, I don't know if we can bring this up and hand those out.
Yes.
Sure. So there's a couple things going on at the Boys and Girls Club this year. First off, we have this sheet that's being handed out. Some of the numbers that we have for how many kids that we're seeing every day, how many kids that are registered with us, and our partnership with the schools is invaluable. All of our kids are your kids. We are in Waterloo. We are in 4 different buildings one school and 3 standalone buildings in Waterloo. So the kids that come from the Waterloo schools are the ones that are in these numbers. So you know a lot of the numbers. 1 in 4 kids that come to us have an IEP. We don't have the resources really to handle that part of it. So one of the things that we've done this year is we're partnering with you and I to start a social work program within the club. So we have some interns that we're using this year to start to build the program so that we can start working on social and emotional and trauma-informed type training with our staffs, with our kids, and allowing us to make sure that the kids are getting what they need after school. Some of the things that we heard just tonight, we thought, the thing that they're doing at Cunningham, Coach T, they have an 8-week program. We are 12 months a year. So if kids are learning those things at that program, after they're done, they could come to us. Our programs are completely free. We don't charge anything for our program. We get grant funding, we get local funding, we get funding some from the schools, some from individual corporations and individuals. So none of the kids that come to us, currently we're seeing about over 440 kids, individual kids every week that are coming to our clubs. We have, as you guys know, you sold us the Elk Run preschool. Right now, we have about 35, 40 kids coming out there every day. But we have over 90 kids registered. So not every kid that's registered comes every day, but they have access. We do have some struggles with transportation, like everybody, getting the kids from the schools to us. A majority of them do come on buses, but some parents do have to drop them off because the buses are full. The other thing that we started this year, and President Williams, thank you for giving them to us, but we did start a robotics program that used to be housed at UNIQ. We've taken that program over so we can give our kids the access to that robotics program. They competed this last Saturday at Pete Elementary or Pete Junior High, and for their first year of competition, they placed 14th out of, I think, 27 different teams. They missed state by 1 place. So, but for a first year, they did really well, and they're going to be presenting at the state competition. I think they're sending a video, but it's been a new thing for us, but it gives the kids that weren't accessing that because it was not housed at the Boys and Girls Club. Now they see it on a daily basis at our teen center, and we're bringing other kids over so that they can see those things. As a staff, we have 40 staff members for all these kids, and we did go down that path with trauma informed, so our staff are getting that. We have been able to make sure our staff has the resources that they need in order to help the kids that are coming to us. The other thing that, is anything other than this? And as you know, with the schools, free and reduced lunch, 81% of the kids that come to us are eligible for free and reduced lunch. And that helps when we're applying for grants, things like that. We are funded, like as I said earlier, we have to raise all of our funding ourselves. Nothing comes from Boys and Girls Club of America. It's all locally raised. We have a lot of national partners, but we don't get a lot of money from them. It's more the relationships, and then if they have a local presence, then we can work with them for funding. And then the other thing that we have on there is on Friday, Valentine's Day, we have our Love the Mission breakfast. It's going to be at our Lime Street location, and as you all know from the calendar, it is a non-school day, so we will have kids there also. So if you want to come have breakfast with kids or your loved one, because it is Valentine's Day, please feel free to come. It is from 8:30 in the morning until 9:30, and it is sponsored by Hy-Vee and Fat Cup. So we will have good coffee, we'll have good food, and that is something that we've started a few years ago. There's no cost to it. It is something where what we're doing is we're going to tell people about the club, about what we do on a daily basis. We'll have some of our staff speaking. We'll have, like I said, the kids will be there since it's a non-school day. We open on non-school days from 8:30 until 6. So kids are able to have some place to go. Parents are able to have that resource, and it's open to all the kids that are registered. Our registrations have gone online now, so everything is, they can go on to Boys and Girls Club or cedarvalleyclubs.org, and there's a membership page. Parents can sign up right there on that membership page. And again, there's no cost for the services that we offer. Do you have any questions?
What ages?
Ages are from 6 until they graduate from high school. So we used to say 6 to 18, but currently, if they're still in high school, they can still come to our teen center. And the teen center is 13 through graduation. So we try to keep the younger kids, the older kids don't want to be with the younger kids, as we all know. So, so even that transition between our younger kids and our high school kids, we are trying to work within our centers and create a space where we call them tweens, have their own space. So they don't have their younger siblings, they don't have the older ones that are influences, and they can have their own space with their own games, with their own staff, and they can do what they want to do, as opposed to the little ones being in their way when they're in the gym or trying to play a game, those types of things. You want to add anything?
I will say that for Boys and Girls Club here in the Cedar Valley, our impact is insurmountable, or it's quite impactful. The Boys and Girls Club for Waterloo since 1967 has been working hard with the youth, and we have alumni here in the city who represent that. You know, we have Mayor Hart, who's an alumni. You know, we have Board President Astor Williams is an alumni as well. So we have individuals that are invested not just in the community, but in the organization as well. When it comes to the specific after-school programming, we're not just, there's a perception that the Boys and Girls Club is just a daycare. There's a perception that the Boys and Girls Club is just sports. It's actually much more than that. We connect our youth with the resources within the community, whether it's local, whether it's state. We have career fairs. We have, through a partnership with Black Hawk County, we have the I Smile program coming in to give dental work with the kids. We have free eyeglasses for the students. We have partnerships with John Deere. We have partnerships with UniQ. Boys and Girls Club here locally is very impactful. And as our CEO mentioned, the support that we get from BGCA is quite minimal, which is unfortunate, but we're here because of the strength of our community. So I definitely encourage all of you to come to our events. We definitely would love to have you come to the school building. I know the club kids enjoy seeing new faces. They like talking to folks. Our teens are a little bit shyer just because they're teens, but at the end of the day, everyone's excited to have you at the club, and we'd love for you to be able to join us on February 14th. Have some breakfast, eat some pancake, hear about the club. If you feel so inclined, support the club as well, but we're definitely excited to hopefully see some of you, if not all of you, on Friday.
How can people support the club? What can we do?
So it's a variety. From a school board perspective, I would say helping identify new grants for us. I know on our end, our partnership with the school board has allowed us to get federal funding with the 21st Century Community Learning Centers, which currently supports Lincoln Elementary, as well as, it was mentioned, Pointer Elementary, and some of the other schools that feed into Elkhorn Heights. I know for us, we're hopeful to pursue next year Highland Elementary and reopen a club there. We did have a club there in the past, and on our end, we're working diligently to restore some of that trust and partnerships with the schools when it comes to the services that we offer, because we want to make sure we're offering the best that we can when it comes to our programming. Additionally, it'd be individually, whether you want to sponsor a program, whether you want to sponsor a trip, whether you want to sponsor the club, donating physically, donating your time. It's a variety of ways where you as an individual can support, as well as just spreading the good word of the Boys and Girls Club to others.
Are there any items ever that that you guys need that people can donate?
Yeah, I'm going to hand that off to our Director of Club Operations, Bailey, who has a better grasp of what's needed at the club.
Good evening, everybody. One of the things I think we consistently need the most is a lot of sports equipment across all of our sites. Boys and Girls Club is the first place I've seen a kid actually wear a basketball all the way through. That is probably one of the most incredible things I've ever got to witness. Additionally, a lot of our arts programs are really starting to ramp up now. We've really identified a lot of individuals who really prefer some more of the fine arts types of things. We've also got a lot of really good volunteers lately who are very focused on arts programs, crafts programs, things like that. So really just trying to make sure that our young people have something to keep themselves busy with, whether it be in the gym, you know, you're doing physical activities, you're keeping yourself busy, you're moving a lot, you're getting really, really tired before you head home to your parents, or, you know, you're using some of your more creative side to keep yourself busy. We just really want to try to really ensure that we've got environments where our young people have the opportunity to kind of choose, you know, have that voice and choice in what they do inside of the club, but also make sure that we've got all of those resources as well. You know, we've got some kids, Brian mentioned the robotics program. We've got some kids who are very, very interested in computers and STEM programs and technology. Unfortunately, technology is not cheap anywhere you look at it. So those are a little bit harder barriers for us to overcome, but it's something that we work, as Hector said, diligently on trying to find different opportunities for ourselves to find grants to support some of those different types of programs.
First off, I'd like to say thank you for your the partnership, but also the services that you provide our children. I want to put Wartburg College out there. I work at Wartburg. We have social work students that are looking for field experiences, and they also have semester-long field experiences. So if you're looking for some students, also we have an engineering program that they may be interested in helping out with your robotics program if you need the support. So just let us know if you're willing to come on up the road to Wartburg College.
On a final note, I do want to say that success looks different for all of our club kids. So whether it's academic, whether it's personal, I know the 4-year route may not be for everyone. So we do encourage all of our club kids to take full advantage of the resources that exist within the Boys and Girls Club, as well as within the Waterloo Community School District. We definitely want to make sure that whatever route our club kids take, it's one that they're going to find success in.
I know he said finally, but so one of the things that we have done in the past, and we do host career fairs at our teen center. And if any of you have organizations that you're involved in, reach out to us. We can get you to talk to our kids, because as Hector said, not all kids are looking for that 4-year education. Some are looking for trades, some are looking for other opportunities. But one of the issues that we run into is a lot of our kids, as a lot of your kids, you have the career center, a lot of them aren't exposed to alternatives. A lot of them aren't exposed to opportunities. You know, when I tell someone that, you know, we have an architect coming in, they say, "What's an architect?" Because they're just not exposed to it. So we try to get them to make sure that they know that there are alternatives, there are routes that they can take, but if they don't know about it, they're not going to do it. Thank you.
Any more questions or comments? I can probably speak all day about my journey and my connection to the Boys and Girls Club, so I won't keep us long, but it's definitely a great opportunity for students, a gym in the Cedar Valley for students, school-age students, to take advantage of the services and be around successful individuals that push them to be great individuals for the future. So it's a wonderful place.
No, we do not. We do not have any economic or anything. It is any kid, as long as they're ages 6 and above, they can come. As again, we always say that in the past we've had a fee for the parents. We found that as to be a barrier, so we were able to, through funding, through other means, get rid of that, and now it's free. That's not only the school year, but that's also including summers. We're open all summer long from basically we open probably a week or so after school lets out until a week before school starts, and we're open from that 8:30 until 6 every day. And last year, I think we ran 9 weeks. Yeah.
Did you just say there's no fee associated?
No fee. And it's
Wow.
thanks to you and your help. You know, you sign an MOU with us every year, and that allows us to get the funding and apply for grants that allow us to keep that without a fee.
Wow.
So how many locations do you have?
4. Lincoln Elementary School is an in-school location. Elk Run Heights is a standalone. Our Lime Street is our flagships that's been around since the 70s.
Yeah.
And then we built the teen center on East 4th Street. We built that. We just celebrated 5 years in that building. And that's 13 through graduation from high school. And even when they graduate that summer, that when they're making that transition, we don't kick them out. They can come that summer too.
And these are all open the hours you mentioned?
I'm sorry?
These are all open the hours that you mentioned?
Yeah, so after school is we open our doors at 3 o'clock because the high schools and middle schools get out, Cunningham also. And then we close at 7 for our younger kids and 8 o'clock for the teens. And then when we have full day clubs, it's from 8:30 in the morning until 6 p.m.
And that's all 4 locations? Or?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And they transport from most schools.
Most schools, yes. We have a bus coming from all the Waterloo schools. And then some of them we have maxed out on. So we have a couple buses or vans that we pick kids up in. And I think we come to 4 schools where we sent a bus because the buses that are coming from those schools are full. And we have waiting lists at those schools.
Thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much for everything.
Yeah, thank you. Good job. Moving along in our agenda, that brings us to our consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda consists of 5 items. Approval of minutes of the January 27th, 2025 regular board meeting. Item 2, personnel appointments and adjustments. Item 3, bills due and payable and bills paid between board meetings. Item 4, set date of public hearing for the 2025-2026 school district calendar. And item 5, set date of public hearing for the Waterloo High School project and approve publication to notice of bidders. Are there any items that board members want to see removed?
2, please.
Item 2. Any others? Can I get a motion to put item 1, item 3, item 4, and item 5 on the table?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of approving items 1, 3, 4, and 5, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Kristen. That brings us to item 2. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the personnel items as listed. And I believe Stacy pulled that.
Yeah, I would just like this to be voted
Oh,
on separately?
can I get a recommendation to put this on the table?
So moved.
Second?
Go ahead.
I would just like this consent agenda item to be voted on separately.
Noted. So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried. Okay. All right, moving along. This brings us to item 12, Iowa Workforce Development Teacher and Paraeducator Registered Apprenticeship Program Grant. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the grant in the amount of $190,000 from the Iowa Workforce Development and approve the Teacher and Paraeducator Registered Apprenticeship Program Grant Agreement 2.0 as outlined.
So moved.
Second.
And we have Sam Kresick, Interim Director of Human Resources, as a contact person. I can read a little bit about it. The Teacher and Paraeducator Registered Apprenticeship Program is an innovative pathway for the current high school students and adult paraeducators to earn credentials while learning and working in the classroom, which Iowa is a leading state that offers this kind of apprenticeship program, and it's creating new careers in education, in the education workforce. I probably made it easy on you, huh? And if there's any more details that you can share with us, if there's any questions or.
So our goal with this program would be to continue for our employees that we want to support to become teachers in the classroom. This program would really support the first year of their college education, the bachelor's degree program. We're partnered with UNI through their Purple Pathways for Paraeducators. So this would support the first year of that 2-year program through this grant. So once they're finished with the second year program, then we would hire those apprentices on as teachers. So we'd be looking for 5 apprentices for the fall of 2025.
It also says students. How do students become involved in it?
So there is a way to look at students if they wanted to become paraeducators or teachers through the program. We really focus on the teachers, kind of focusing through our Teach Waterloo program and pairing these two pieces together.
So what does this do differently than just the Teach Waterloo program?
So Teach Waterloo was ours specifically.
Right.
This that was funded through the Waterloo Schools Foundation, McElroy Trust, John Deere Foundation. This would be a new way to help fund that program that the state is providing for multiple different school districts.
Okay, got ya.
But it's not limited to the Teach Waterloo program.
Correct. This would be something that if they offer this grant in the future, we could continue with it as well, because it's not just for teachers. This would be registered apprentices. That's through the Registered Apprenticeship Program for the entire state of Iowa through Iowa Workforce Development.
So teachers and paras, there's an apprenticeship program to become a teacher or para?
So it's a registered apprenticeship program. That's
Right.
kind of what Iowa Workforce Development has presented for us.
Oh, it's new. We don't.
We're pairing it with our Teach Waterloo program to build our current paraeducators into teachers.
Okay.
So how is this 190,000 itemized out?
So it is in 4 reimbursement periods. They had offered to start it as soon as right now, February through June, then a period July through August, September through December of this year, and then January through June of 2026. We are planning to use for sure the August through December reimbursement period and the January through June reimbursement period for a new cohort of people. We were hoping we could use some of that current funding for our current fellows we have in our Teach Waterloo program, but based on where they're at, we were told that we could not use the current grant funding for that piece. So we are looking to see if there are other ways we can get apprentices in to use the funding for the 2 reimbursement periods happening right now.
So this is almost $40,000 a piece. So what are we paying the salary? What are we paying for?
So we can use that for tuition. We can use it for their books, any educational supplies during that time. It comes out to, I believe it's $9,200 per apprentice per semester.
And they only go to you and I, correct?
Correct. We were required to select one provider for the education.
And so this supports them through all 4 years then?
It supports them through the first year, the first 2 semesters, and then we're working with the Waterloo Schools Foundation to fund them through the second year as well.
Through the second year? But they go for 4, right? I mean, I'm sorry,
So
I'm misunderstanding.
It's only a 2-year program, because if you are accepted into this program, you already have an associate's degree or 60 undergraduate credits.
Oh, so this wouldn't apply to the current high school kids then that are
Correct.
part of. So right now, we're just using this for the 5 that are doing Teach Waterloo. We're not focusing on the high school part at this time.
At this time, correct.
Okay, got ya.
So help me understand the math. The $9,000 a semester?
I think that was roughly the number per apprentice, yes.
That's 18,000 times 5 is 70. So it doesn't come close to 190,000. I don't understand.
There were the 4 reimbursement periods, so that number, that $190,000 split 4 ways, you could get that number, so a quarter of that each reimbursement period. So if we were to look at the math here, sorry, I don't have the numbers sitting out in front of me.
And we have this grant? Are we applying for the grant?
We already applied for the grant. This would be approving us to move forward and sign the grant that we're going to work with Iowa Workforce Development. And we would be accepting the reimbursement for it.
But the decision to grant to us
Correct.
has not been made.
They agreed to offer us the grant money.
Okay.
So right now we're approving that, saying, yes, we're going to sign the contract. We're going to enter into this agreement with Iowa Workforce Development. And
It's informal at this point, but it's an agreed to.
well, this is probably the formal step of saying,
Alright.
yes, we're agreeing to it.
It allows us to utilize the funds,
Yeah. Okay.
accepting the funds.
Thank you.
Correct.
47.5,
Yes.
47,500 per quarter
Correct.
is what we would be
Yep.
receiving.
I mean, it's almost basically, you and I tuition, what, about 9,000 a year, essentially? I mean, you're basically covering tuition, not housing, and
Correct.
so, yes, I think it's like 96 or something like that right now.
Yep.
And so the rest of the money goes towards the stipend, you said, for the mentors and what else?
It can. We can use that reimbursement money however we best see fit, but we plan to use it for that apprentice, for that, all the tuition, the books, anything else. So if there is money left over after that tuition piece, we're required to have a mentor for each of our fellows that are in it. We could give them some type of reimbursement if we chose to do so as well.
Okay, yeah, because it's only like $4,500 a semester, right? Tuition.
Depending on book cost and
Right,
things.
right,
Yep.
okay.
And
Got
we are not required to request the entire reimbursement amount. That's the total we can possibly request.
Okay.
So we pay out the money for the tuition, everything first, and then we ask for the reimbursement to get that money back.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
I think it can be easy to get lost in the details. This is a really cool thing. I cannot thank Sam and Amy Hunzelman before she left were the two who said, hey, we need to do this. We're only one of 11 districts in the state. Remember, there's over 300 districts in the state who could have qualified for this, and we're one of them. So I think it's important not to lose sight of the I know there's some things to figure out here, but how positive this is for our district, because we were not quite sure we were going to get some of this money from. So thanks to Sam and Amy who left for all the work that went into this. Appreciate it.
What do you mean that we're one of the only ones that qualified for it? Because of what's unique in the district, or just because we already have Teach Waterloo?
No,
or?
this was from the Department of Ed threw this out to every district.
Right.
And every district had a chance. This is the second time through. So there was
Yeah.
also one right after COVID So, I mean, there's a lot of interest in these
Mhm.
because people are seeing how successful this is. So for us to be only be one of 11 districts that got it, it's a
Oh, that
really
got-
big.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant one of the only ones eligible to get it.
Nope, any
You
district in
meant-
the state of Iowa was
Okay.
eligible. A lot of districts that have gotten this have had pretty big celebrations. So don't forget that this is a big deal. I know we have questions, but I don't want to forget that this is a really cool thing. So Sam, again, congratulations for the work on this.
Yep, thank you. And so the next steps in this process are going to be, we'll put an application process out to our employees saying, hey, this is what it takes to be eligible. They'll apply for it. We'll do some interviews to make sure we're getting the best people in to be, because once they're in, we're saying you're going to be a teacher in our district. So then we're gonna do some interviews with that. And once we have those applicants selected, we'll do a press release of some type and a big celebration for them as they get started on, honestly, their teacher journey now.
So that's for our 5 that'll be starting this fall.
In
is that-
August, yep.
Okay. And so we didn't have any already that were signed up for the next fall's Teach Waterloo, or
We
no?
have not yet. We were waiting to get this finalized so that we had it
Got ya.
ready to go. Yep.
Very cool. Thank you, Sam.
This sounds like an awesome program. I think you also mentioned that there will be mentors. So these are mentors within the district. How are those mentors identified? Do they kind of like volunteer, I want to do this, or how does that work?
That, I think we're still working on
Okay.
determining how we'll do that. UNI has a process of like expectations for those mentors. So we'll kind of put that out and say, these are the people that were selected. We'll probably look at people within the buildings that those fellows are in. So it's a relationship they already have, somebody they can trust and work with, and then build from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any more questions, comments? Again, thanks, Sam and Amy, for all your work on this. So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. That brings us to our next item, item 13, and it is the appointment of the board treasurer. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the appointment of J.T. Anderson as board treasurer.
So moved.
Second.
That was pretty adamant.
Just to use it.
Yeah, I'm scared to ask for questions and comments. Are there any questions or comments? Oh, I'll read it. I'll read the details. In accordance with Iowa Code and Board Policy 206.4, it is the responsibility of the Board of Education to appoint a board treasurer. Following the recent retirement of Jeff Sommerfeld, CFO and board treasurer, it is necessary to appoint a new treasurer. J.T. Anderson is the district's new CFO and is being recommended to serve as the board treasurer.
Just in the short time that I've got to work with JT already, he's been doing a great job of explaining all those things that are hard for little brains to understand. And I'm just really excited to have you here, JT, and congratulations.
Any more questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. Now, we have a little action to take care of. You probably want to come to me. Yeah. Yeah. I just seen this. Can I have you raise your right hand, sir? I need to read this off. So I won't misquote while under oath.
Page 44.
Thank you, Stacy. You always got my back.
I do.
I don't want to misquote. I feel like a judge right now. You raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially do the best of your ability discharge the duties of the office of treasurer in the Waterloo Community School District as now or hereafter required by law? All right.
JT.
I feel like a judge.
You're getting to like that now.
That brings us to the next item on our agenda, item 14. It is an internet Service Provider, ISP bids. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the 3-year, 10 gigabytes internet service proposal from MediaCom.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have, I won't dare read all this. We have the professional, Mr. Matt O'Brien, Director of Technology for the district, to talk a little bit about this.
Good evening. So I think some of our board members are aware, but for the benefit of anyone watching from home or for someone who isn't an E-rate junkie like me, I'll give you a quick tutorial that there's a federal program known as E-rate, which offers schools and libraries the opportunity to apply for funding to pay for internet service and some other technology related items. So anytime we seek bids for these items, we do so under the rules of the E-rate program. So the district currently has 2 internet service providers. We use one for our elementary schools and one for our secondary schools. So next year, next fiscal year, we will be in year 2 of 3 in a contract with a company called Arion, which services our elementary schools, and the contract before you is to replace an expiring contract for our secondary schools.
We've had MediaCom.
MediaCom is actually the current provider
Yeah.
for that service, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you haven't had any issues.
No, actually, of the 4 providers that bid, knock on wood, they have been by far the most reliable.
So, I mean, even with the cost of service, just knowing that it's dependable and
Yeah, so the dependability was a big factor for us, as was quite honestly, there's a cost for us to switch. There's a lot of configuration that goes into that, bringing fiber into the facility, all of those pieces. So to be able to just roll that service over is a major selling point as well for us.
Did we not get for internet provider? We didn't get a bid locally from, we got a couple more companies operating in the area now. Did we not?
So
city has theirs, right?
Yeah,
now?
Waterloo Fiber. I have had conversations, a number of conversations with Waterloo Fiber, which is the city's new municipal telecom. They're not ready to take us on yet. That is something that we're certainly talking about in the future. To your point, Metronet is the other local provider that we did receive a bid from. Number of reasons why our bid evaluation matrix didn't have them as the winner, but we were happy to receive a bid from them.
So the 10 points is justified. 10 points for current provider is justified from the transition issues.
We felt so, yes. As I said, it was also of the 4 providers that bid, MediaCom by far has been the most reliable provider. And also, if you'll note, the low bidder is Arion. I mentioned Arion is actually one of our current providers. So from a disaster recovery standpoint, we really wanted to have 2 internet circuits come in. We didn't feel like it made sense to have just a single circuit.
has MediaCom been receptive when there's issues and stuff? I mean, you feel good working with them?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Any more questions? Yep. I made it back just in time. All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. That brings us to the next item on our agenda. Network equipment support and maintenance purchase. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the purchase of network equipment from ASOR at a total cost of $169,753.20 for firewall support and maintenance from Sterling at a total cost of $80,397.82 and network equipment support and maintenance from ASOR at a total cost of $34,199.82. $144.08.
Second.
So there's a second part to the E-rate program, which allows us to apply for funding to assist with these type of purchases, which is network equipment and also network maintenance. A lot of things kind of fall underneath network maintenance. It's ongoing security updates, it's support from the manufacturer. In some cases, it's replacement. If the equipment dies, then we're able to get replacement covered under that maintenance contract as well. So there are really three parts to what we call E-rate category 2 that we're applying for, that we're proposing applying for. The first is to purchase some new network equipment that will actually be used to retire some equipment which is becoming end of life, meaning will no longer be eligible for security updates. So it's important that we retire that equipment before that occurs. The second piece is for firewall maintenance. Our firewall is really our most critical both network and security device that we have in the district. So it's really important that we keep an active contract on that, which allows it to protect against the latest threats that come out. Threat definitions is what they're called, and that's part of the maintenance contract. That's part of that package that's before you. And the third piece is for support and updates for a good chunk of our network. So it covers our over 1,000 access points that we have in the district, as well as some of our other critical network equipment. Again, allows us the license to use the kind of advanced software on those to manage those devices, get support, all of those pieces.
Is this sort of equipment specified in the high school design? Are we gonna have, or is that separate? Are you doing that separately, or is it in the design? And if it's in the design, is it the same?
It will be the same. So we will actually plan, obviously that's still a number of years out, but assuming the E-rate program still exists at that point, then we will plan on also purchasing that equipment through the E-rate process, because that will be quite a bit cheaper for us to do that than actually include it as part of the bid package. We started doing that a number of years ago. So used to be the district would bundle that as part of the bid package and have the subcontractor install that and provide the equipment. We now bid that separately and have that be owner provided. So some of that equipment we will install ourselves, and then some of the equipment like the access points is owner provided contractor installed.
That's in Zach's budget.
So yes, there's a technology component of the owner provided piece, which covers that. Also things like the televisions, active panels, that's a big portion of that budget as well.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Any more questions, comments? All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt, for all your work. Get back to the agenda. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, the bid approval for Bunger Middle School track and field project. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education accept the recommendation from ISG Incorporated and approve the base bid only, no alternate, from V Construction Corp for the Bunger Middle School track and field project for a total contract cost of $874,964. And we have, I believe, Lan. Oh,
second.
Thank you. You always got my back. And I believe we have Landon from ISG.
Yes, I'm Landon with ISG, civil engineer on this project. So just kind of here to answer any of you guys' questions. Just some background. This is for track and field at Bunger. We'll be replacing the track and then a new football surface as well. Be irrigation, athletic seed mix on the field. That's what the bid alternate was using sod versus seed seed. So,
but it's under the contract to have it seeded.
Yes.
And how's that protected then from erosion?
So as part of the establishment of it,
Yeah.
that's on the contractor to get to a certain level of establishment before we ever let them wash their hands of it. So if it doesn't establish, they have to maintain their erosion control and seed it and protect it until it's established.
How long does that take? Do you know?
It's a little bit weather dependent.
Yeah.
The nice part, irrigation helps with that, but it takes 6 to 8 weeks to kind of get it to where
Oh,
it's
that
where it's heavy for or good enough to kind of be used, I guess.
And we don't have like turf on any of the middle school tracks, right?
They're all grass.
They're all grass. Okay, yeah.
Just Memorial is the only one.
Yeah.
So with that 6 to 8 week window, a rough estimate of actual usage.
Maybe at the tail end of the season. I don't want to make guarantees just because it's
just
a
a rough-
little bit, but
yeah.
maybe at the end of the season potential.
The end of which season?
This fall, but again, that's a big if. With the construction in Iowa, obviously we have hot summers, so the seeding window isn't until the middle of August for them to actually be able to put the seed down, and then so from there you're looking at 8 weeks after mid-August, so that puts you mid-October for that seed to be really able to hold up on its own. And then even with athletics, you got a lot of wear and tear very quickly on that. So
Do we have any provisions planned to keep people off that while it's growing? What's our,
yeah, it will be a completely fenced in area. So that one alone will kind of help protect it, but just kind of public awareness, obviously some roping and stuff to kind of help with that.
But the track will be available on it.
The track will be available to be on. I'm not sure exactly what provisions there's going to be in place, and kind of be working with you guys.
When will the track be done?
That'll be, the substantial completion date is, I believe, August 10th, plus or minus a few days, not 100% off the top of my head, but by then it's supposed to be done. So
an outside fence and then probably some roping or
Yeah.
on the interior
Yep.
field portion of it.
Yep.
Will probably be sufficient, hopefully.
Yeah.
But leaving the track available, right?
If it's ready to go.
When it's ready,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. Yep. If and when, yeah.
When the school year, hopefully when the school year gets going.
Yeah, the intent is the contract will at least be out of the way by the time the school year starts.
Okay.
So what's in the contract for, it's key, the daily watering. I mean, that time of year, it has to be kept moist all the time.
Yep.
Can't dry out. I mean, somebody basically has to babysit it all day long, every day, virtually. Is that the contractor, or do we pick it up at that point?
Yep, so they basically have it till about 70%, and even then there's a warranty on it until we accept it. It's on them to make sure it's watered and cared for. If there's a dead spot, they're going to be coming in and held accountable to replace and repair that dead spot. Obviously, at some point, it's going to fall. Once that contract's been accepted, it's going to fall on the school's maintenance staff to maintain it.
So who supervises them to make sure that they keep it moist 24/7 during that time?
That's going to rely mostly on our team, on just kind of, doing your check-ins with them. Obviously, we can't be there 24/7, but it's going to be, pretty obvious when it's dry or it's, it has been adequately watered to hold them accountable to that.
You pretty much need to be there
Yeah.
24/7. So if there's a gap in the contractor, then
And that's the beautiful
internally-
part of the irrigation too, is that's going to be on there and kind of we'll be able to monitor that system as well.
Maybe they can put nanny cams on it. What kind of warranty do we have on this kind of work? Do you know, like for the track and?
Yes. So usually there's a 1 year construction warranty. And then a lot of product suppliers will also have additional warranties on their product. Off the top of my head, I want to say the track, I want to say it's 5 years, but don't quote me on that. But it is warranted, so.
It's the same surface as Carver in east and west?
Yep. Yeah, the same all-purpose track surface.
Good to go? All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to our last action item. Item 17 is the resolution fixing the date for a public hearing on the proposed use of SAVE revenue for an athletic facility infrastructure project. The superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the resolution fixing the date for a public hearing on the proposed use of SAVE revenue for an athletic facility infrastructure project, and amended changing the date of public hearing as noted to March 10th, 2025.
Second.
And Zach isn't here. We have JT, our CFO. Dr. Smith can give us a little information on this as well. This is tied to the One High School project. You want to take this one? If you're feeling up to it? Okay. Okay. So Pam can answer the public hearing date. This is the one that we changed from the February.
Actually a different one.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's a whole different.
This is a different one.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
there was just a little mishap with getting the public hearing. The original one was scheduled for February 24th. We were not able to get that in the courier. So we just have to, because there's a window of 10 to 20 days, and could not get that in the courier with board approval tonight and publishing tomorrow. So it's just moving it back. It won't affect the timeline on anything. It's just moving that public hearing back.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So this is just to use the SAVE revenue for
Yes.
the athletic facilities that are with the the new school, right?
The public hearing, so the public can come
Just the-
and have
Okay.
a conference. Yes.
That's what this one's for.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. That ends our action items for the evening. And now on to the superintendent's report, Dr. Smith.
Yeah, appreciated the two presentations earlier this evening from Highland and Cunningham. I thought with with Highland talking about chronic absenteeism, I'd just give the board a quick update here. So what we do each month is we take a look and see where our chronic absenteeism is year to date versus that same date last year. So last year on February 1st, 2024, our chronic absenteeism, not proud of it, but it was at 30%, right at 30% last year. Like I said, on February 1st, 2024. This year, on February 1st, 2025, we are down 8.5%, down to 21.5%. So that's a really good number. That's district wide. And if you look at, I've got some statistics here that I could probably just share with the group. I can actually share the document with you so you can see where we're at. But you can see a lot of improvements here as you look at different buildings. I might just give a few buildings some shout outs here. Year over year, Carver is down 17.5%. Year over year, Expo is down 10%. Year over year, Lincoln is down 14%. Lowell is down 12%, and West High is down 10.8%. So those are all the schools that are in double digits. There's a lot of other schools that are really close to that 10%. So our efforts are really paying off. Now, do we still have a little ways to go? Absolutely. But in terms of, that's been a clear focus from the board and for our admins, is to really focus on that chronic absenteeism. And we're seeing some really cool things there. So you kind of heard some things from Highland this evening. And a lot of cool incentives going on. And sometimes you say incentives, well, does that matter? Especially to our younger kids, it does matter to them that there's and they're having those individual conversations about, hey, it's good to see you here today, and hey, you haven't missed any days this month. Here's the award you might get, or whatever it might be. So some really good data there going in the right direction. Second, I shared a link with the group over the weekend. Thanks to Ron Steele, KWWL, for the awesome Steele report on Sunday. I don't know if you had a chance to see that or not. If it's also on their website. But 30 minutes dedicated to the Waterloo, the new high school project. Just really, it was a two-day interview thing where we did in studio, and then we actually came out to the Career Center, and we walked the Career Center and just showed him where all the different things are going for the new high school, and just gotten some feedback from people who've seen the episode, and some excitement that's out there. And it's cool to say, okay, now it's 2025. It's really cool to say 3 years from now. I know it's really 3.5 years, but now we're within 3 years. So it's really cool to say. So again, thanks to Emily and Emily also for reaching out to KWWL and saying, hey, we'd love to do an interview with you. And it turned out really good. So those are my 2 updates for tonight.
Do you recall where we ended? We were 30% on February 1st. Where did we end?
I'll just pull it up real quick on our dashboard here. I want to make sure I got the right number.
I think it was like 32 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
32, 34.
It definitely, as the year, just like you guys asked, I think you asked the question to Highland, as the year goes up, our numbers usually just kind of keep going up. We'd love for them to go down, but let me check real quick. Attendance last year. Oh, come on. It's almost there. Yep. We ended last year at 30.2. Wait. 30 point. So we must have not gone. We ended last year at 30.2. So we must have kind of plateaued towards the end of last year. So let me say that again. So last year we ended at 30.2%, and as it sits today, I've got us right at 21.9% chronic absenteeism.
Okay.
Let me go look at ADA real quick. ADA, which is average daily attendance rate, which is a little bit different way of looking at it. Last year we finished at 90.48%.
Yeah.
This year, as it sits right now, we are way up to 92.8%.
All right.
So we're up over 2% this year on ADA.
That was what I kind of wanted you to clarify, because I think when people hear chronic absenteeism, they hear 30%. I think some brains go to, oh, you have 30% of your kids missing. But can you define chronic absenteeism real quick?
Yeah. So chronic absenteeism is if a student misses more than 10% of the time. Anna, you heard hours.
Yeah.
We kind of just, the easiest way for us to say that is days. So there's about 180 days in a school year for a kid, right? So we always say 18 days. That's that if you've missed 18 or more, you're chronically absent. And I want to say.
So how many is that a month?
Well, I mean, we've got what?
Two something.
Yeah, probably two a month.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's why they were okay. Got it.
But to me, the average daily attendance is really a better measure than the chronic absenteeism.
And the reason we focus on chronic absenteeism is that's the state's focus. That's where when we look at like the which is our targeted schools, they look at the chronic absenteeism. But it's a little easier to wrap your head around the average daily. You know, of all the students in your building, what percent do you see every day? Well, we're saying that, you know, 92, close to 93% of our kids are there on a daily basis.
And it makes sense to focus on the ones that aren't coming, are chronic, but it is nice to look and see how many are actually in the buildings too. So,
and again, I encourage all board members. I know it's been a little while since we talked about the dashboard, and probably should, you know, get a little bit more better habit with this group of going over that. But anytime you want to look at that, it's up to the minute, up to the day, in terms of those statistics we're looking at.
and that's on the main
Yep.
Waterloo page, right?
Yep, that's right on the main page there under the attendance tab.
All right, thank you, Dr. Smith. Tonight, we'll start with Director Mills for board comments.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who came and spoke today. It's always beneficial to us to have the public come and speak. I appreciated hearing from everybody, and Mr. Chapman, I really appreciated the making sure that we focus on local and on our options as far as making sure that we don't discount small businesses, female-led business, everything. So I love that, and I think that is definitely a discussion that will happen. And Ms. Graves always brings good stuff to us, and I think that that's another discussion that we can have. And it was wonderful to have Mr. Childs here. I really appreciated Ms. Broughton coming and sharing her story, and I just would like to always let parents know that advocating for your child is exactly your job. So I appreciate it and hope that we can continue to work with them. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Director Mills. Director Ewing.
That's all I have for tonight, except that thank you to all of DLT and everybody that puts this agenda together and all the work that goes into all these projects and all of the contract review and deep dives and everything. And thanks for putting up with us in our deep dive questions.
Thank you, Director Ewing. Director Matlock.
Welcome, JT. Glad to have you aboard. One of the things that I noticed tonight as we go through the board celebrations, and I'm not board celebrations, the schools coming in and letting us know what they're doing. I heard a lot about building relationships with students and parents, leadership, that social emotional learning. All those things are key to student success. And I just appreciate that is probably the best part of being a part of this board, is hearing about the positive things. We were at the equity meeting last week, and Central Middle School came in, and they have a future teachers program that I think all of us need to know more about. They seem like they're doing an awesome job over there. So it's just, to me, it's the building those relationships, that social emotional learning, and then also that leadership that we're instilling in our students. And I'm looking forward to see what's next. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Matlock. Director Knight.
All right. Well, I had two items I want to mention today. One, just the Cunningham presentation. I just really was pretty moved by that, as they're doing some great job there, and a great staff working on that. So appreciate the work they're doing there. Other one I want to mention, we had this week our first state placer in the Iowa Girls Sanctioned State Wrestling Tournament. So I say sanctioned because there's a few unsanctioned ones that were not state sanctioned a few years ago. We had one lady place at that one, but our first Iowa Girls Union State Wrestling Tournament, we had Libby Stocks from East High. She wrestled for the combined Waterloo West, Waterloo East team. And she placed third at state meet this last week. And 4-1 on the day, and the 4 wins were by pin. So congratulations, Libby. She did a fantastic job and had a great season. Just want to recognize her. So
Great job. Thank you, Director Knight.
Yep.
Director Cox.
Once again, JT, definitely congratulations here. I want to kind of reiterate, a little bit everyone said about the for the schools to come in. I thought it was great with Cunningham. There was a statement that was made. I think Coach T mentioned, or someone mentioned it. Solving problems without using emotions. That's a real powerful statement. And so, I just kind of, we're not totally here yet, but that's something that, I work in the schools, and that is an issue. It's an issue. And so I think that in the near future, I think that's something that we're going to have to be able to have a handle on, is dealing with that social emotional learning, those coping skills. We may have to realign that. Right now, they're after school programs. Well, it might have to be integrated into our curriculum. Because of the simple fact, I can guarantee you, those students are better in the classroom. And we're talking about for individuals to learn, for each and every kid to have a chance of really learning. And so I just want to kind of mention, I just want to mention that because, that behavioral intervention and those kind of things, instead of putting labels on kids, let's, they haven't been introduced to it. And I think what's going on at Cunningham is interesting, and I would love to see kind of, hopefully here in the next few years, if those same kids, if there's some carryover. It's kind of hard to have carryover after, I think, 8 weeks or something like that. But that's something that, to possibly look at from the standpoint of how to implement that within our curriculum. So I want to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Cox. Director Schmidt.
Yeah, just, I don't know, 3 items, I guess. The first one is just a comment on the Bunger track. So they're going to get a new track, but it's also a message to the communities of Evansdale and Elk Run that they're not being abandoned. We're going to invest just as much in Bunger and that whole area as any other place. Second one, I believe the dates for the construction documents to be out is February 25th and bids back, I think, March 25th or something like that. So to Mr. Chapman's comment earlier, we did meet with several contractors. Hopefully there'll be more than that bid, and we specifically talked about breaking the contract, allowing the things you talked about to be part of that. And they were all pretty much in agreement with that. Now, executing it might be a whole other thing, especially if someone has the bid that we haven't talked to. But yes, that is definitely a goal. JT, welcome. So far, so good. And then lastly, just recognize Coach Dick Herban. I think 7 teams competed in the robotics, 3 of which made it to state. The winner is HTO Lou. I love the name. And they'll all be competing for the championships in Iowa City. So wish them well, and particularly Coach Urban for putting his time and effort into each of those teams. So I think that's another great activity that students just, some of them, it really, they take a real interest in it, and it helps them, especially in a STEM career. So appreciate that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Schmidt. I'll I'll start with JT first. So get ready. Get ready and welcome. So far, so good. So far, so good. I do want to reiterate what Director Matlock said about some of the things that we've seen tonight. Some of you have heard just a glimpse, small glimpse of my personal story and just how I grew up a little bit. And programs like the Boys and Girls Club, and I probably wouldn't have been the student that participated in the program that's happening at Cunningham, which they're doing a wonderful job with. But a lot of that baggage was carried with me during my educational journey in the younger stages of my life. So just the benefits that individuals like Coach T or Mr. Sir or others that are in the buildings providing that extra support and guidance for those students that need us the most, kind of going along with what the Boys and Girls Club mission statement is important. I don't ever want to, I can only be who I am based off my experiences, things that I've experienced, whether as a child, and I have a pretty good memory, and all the things that were placed in front of me or the supports that I had to get me to the position I'm in now. So I look back at those things and I visualize and remember who I needed when I was going through my journey, and I try to be that for others in my community. I just want you all to know that in the listening audience to know that as well. Are we perfect? No, not by any stretch. But we put our shoes and clothes on with the goal of servicing the young people in our community and to help families navigate through some rough times and be a benefit to our community and the people that we come across every day. So to the Highland team that's making an effort to curb absenteeism, putting things in place that students can gravitate to, because being there is the first part. Showing up and being there, and know that you're wanted, know that people care about you. Once they get you into those buildings, hopefully you learn some things, and hopefully you're around people that you know care about you. So the absenteeism thing is huge because we want our students in the buildings, and then the extra added programs that are available to our students and our families, as Cunningham mentioned, is what will drive our community to be better. No matter what walk of life you're from, whether or how you grew up, I always say to young people, just be productive. And for young people to be productive, they need us. They need our guidance. They need our support. They need to see us in all we do. So I won't go farther into that. It'll probably be more at a later date, but to those individuals or those groups that were represented today, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Sometimes it may seem like a lot or a challenge, or that those individuals or those students or those families aren't picking it up, or they're not getting it at that point. But if you tell your story enough, or if you put enough in front of them, they'll grasp something. They'll grasp something. I always also say we look at things through an adult mind a lot in our mature being as we are now. But go back to when we were 10 years old or 9 years old or 13, 14 years old, and how we thought then. So we have to have patience. Everybody's situation hasn't always been the best. But we can learn from our experiences and the positions that we've been in to make sure our students are, leaning toward a productive life, along with our mission statement. So, with that being said, the next time we'll be in this room will be on February 24th at 5 p.m. PK through 12 conferences will begin on Tuesday, February 25th from 4 to 7:30 p.m. And then again on Thursday, February 27th from 12 to 8 p.m., which is a no school day for students. And then we have a teacher comp day on February 28th, and that's also a no school day, but it sounded like there's going to be some good activities going on for students as well at the Boys and Girls Club and other area events places. So with that being said, I would ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting this evening.
So moved. Second.
That's a meeting in the parking lot right there. All those in favor of approving to adjourn, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.
Was that a 6-1 on adjourning? What was it? Oh, okay. I thought.
Has anyone ever said no? Pam?
No.
Not in my experience. Just wondering.